My name's Don West. I'm a 2000 graduate of the University of Miami School of Law. And when I came to law school here, I had a very singular focus. And that focus was on wanting to be a sports agent and be a sports attorney and work with superstars. And I kind of got a chance to do a little bit of that and to experience it. And I also got a chance to observe some of the needs of the clientele that I really wanted to work with. And it was a strange experience because the clients that I was seeking to work with, some of those people were my very, very close friends and had been my close friends for years before I got to law school, and they had had success in the sports or entertainment realm. So the seriousness of the relationship and the different family stories that existed for me had me evaluate the business and the legal opportunities that were present from a sports standpoint as a sports agent working for a firm called Steinberg, Morad and Dunn. And out of that, let me just tell a short, quick story. In 1999, one of our clients passed away, and he was a superstar, and he had several different children, right? He was a very savvy and established and sophisticated businessman in the way that he conducted all of his affairs off the field and was a superstar athlete on the field. But he didn't have a will, and he didn't have any other estate planning type or legacy planning documents. So what ended up happening was, long story short, when he passed away in an unexpected, untimely, unfortunate accident, his children and all the people connected to them were left in disarray, and because the children, some of them had different mothers, they had different opinions about how things were supposed to proceed. They got lawyers, each lawyer got his fee, and the fees started to erode what was the corpus or the amount of money that had been put together by this athlete who had worked his entire life to put it together to benefit his kids and his grandkids and his great-grandkids. And a good chunk of that got eroded because of the lack of planning, and it went to lawyers and to court fees and to other costs that weren't necessary if it had been planned properly. And that was the money that was supposed to take care of his children when he was away and take care of his great-great-grandchildren. And some of it, not all of it, but some is too much. And when you're talking about percentages, 20% and 30%, that's way too much to be just giving away for lack of planning. So in that, I want to share another story with you. It's the story of a man named Abram Lee. Abram Lee was born 2 centuries ago now. He was born as a slave on a farm or a plantation, I'm not sure exactly which, in Virginia. He was born in February 2 centuries ago. I believe it was 1853, 1850s. When he was a little kid, he saw the madam of his plantation beat his brother to death with the heel of a shoe for something that the kid had done. Whatever it was, the penalty was death. And he witnessed that with his own eyes as a little kid. A little later in his life, his mother and the rest of his siblings were sold to a different plantation, and he was separated from them. When he was 12 years old, I'm not sure the exact circumstances, but he had an opportunity to see Abraham Lincoln give a speech. And ultimately, as a result of the Civil War and his time span being born in 1853, he was freed from being a slave and went on a search and a quest to find his mother and his lost siblings, which he never found. At that point, when he went on that quest, his name was actually Abram Slaughter. The reasons and the exact mechanisms behind it, I don't know, but I can hypothesize something that might have occurred. But he changed his name once he realized that he wasn't going to be able to find his mom and his kids, and that he was a free man. And he changed his name from Abram Slaughter to Abram Lee. And ultimately, he went through life. He got married. He married a lady named Agnes. He had 13 kids. The youngest of those kids became a minister in the community where they had settled. He built a church. He built a fortune that was worth, at the time of his death, almost $1 million. And it was all in real estate holdings primarily, and some other small bond annuity type investments that people of a World War II and Great Depression era might be akin to, because they like stuff that's really safe, because they've witnessed and experienced firsthand the riskiness of the markets that we're experiencing today and the volatility of gas just jumping out of control. All that said, back to Abram Lee. The reason I know these stories about him, and I know that his son was a millionaire when he died, because his son was my great-grandfather. And in that, you talk about legacy. And what is legacy? What is legacy planning? Legacy planning is, it's a complement to the estate planning process. So estate planning, you know, there's a will, there's a trust, there's some other mechanism that deals with what happens to your stuff, your tangible things that you have in this world when you pass away or when you become incapacitated and can't deal with them. So that's your tangible assets. But what's your most valuable assets? Well, actually, your most valuable and some of your invaluable assets are your life experiences, your lessons. If you're a businessman or an entrepreneur or a professional, your business processes, your business philosophies, your practices, your principles. Those things are invaluable. Those are the things that allowed the son of a slave to put together a respect in a community, to build a church that still stands today, to have towers and things named after him in his honor after he's gone. And those things are also supposed to be conveyed to his children and his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren. So now we have a chance to compare